friend, welcome. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jen. I'm a part-time online clothing reseller, which means I go to thrift stores, I buy used clothes, I list them on eBay and Poshmark and sell them hopefully for a profit. Today is Monday, July 28th, and these are the items that sold in the last 24 hours. I'm shipping out this morning, and it's 6 items, 4 on eBay, 1 each on Poshmark and Depop. And my gross sales amount is $145.07. So I have one item that sold really fast and it was really surprising, but we'll talk about that at the end. These are a pair of harem pants. I think that's what they're called. That's was based on like other similar listings. These are called, I don't know, Sarjana Handicrafts, and not a great sell-through rate at all. Average sale price is $7.33 with a 13% sell-through rate. I had these listed for $20 on Poshmark and they sold full price. They did take 4.5 months to sell, which I guess is really good considering that sell-through rate. I'm gonna claim it as good. And yeah, it sold full price, $20 rather. I paid 64 cents. That was an average cost of goods at a bag sale at one of my favorite thrift stores. And my profit is $15.36. I like to buy interesting, unique items like this. I usually use Tyvek mailers for Poshmark, but I don't have any yet. I ordered them, but they haven't come, so I'm gonna use a padded flat rate. Anyway, I like to buy interesting, unique kind of items like this, but maybe that's not very unique with a 13% sell-through rate. I do know I had bought another pair similar last summer? I don't know, a while ago, at a garage sale, and they sold fairly quickly. And then when I found these, I was like, oh, those others sold fairly quickly, so I'll go ahead, and especially with a low cost of goods like that, I'm willing to take the risk. But yeah, 4.5 months is fantastic. Hit my profit goal of $15, so I'm pleased with that. This sold on Depop. This is a vintage sweater. It's just Partners Women. Mervyn's? I don't know. There's the tag. It's made in Hong Kong, which does indicate to me that it's vintage. USA made is always better. This is a size 2X, and it's just a very, like, you can see the knit is very chunky. It's acrylic. What I looked up was vintage acrylic sweater, and my air conditioning just clicked on. I'm not gonna turn it off because it's too hot for that. Vintage acrylic sweater, crew neck. Solid, because it is a solid color and not like a print or stripe or geometric print. And the average sale price is $21.42 with a 2% sell-through rate. Now I will tell you that I have a fair amount of success selling vintage sweaters, way more than 2%. Oh goodness. And I'm kind of excited that they're starting to sell again, because I tend to make a little bit more money on them because they, sell for a little bit of a higher price than like most t-shirts or even blouses. So anyway, I had this listed for, I think $40. And no, I had it listed for $30. I'm sorry. $30 is kind of my base rate for vintage sweaters when I don't have an exact comp. And it sold on an offer on Depop for $20. I had $9 in shipping on there. That was a little bit, actually, Man, when I was doing labels today, I think the UPS, actually I know the USPS upped their prices again. Sorry, FedEx truck. Lots of noises today. And so I think that I was going to go through and like fix all of my Depop shipping prices, but I think I'm gonna leave them where they are, because even if I make a few dollars, I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, I don't think that it's necessarily wrong to make a few dollars on shipping. If you disagree with me on that, that's okay, we can disagree. But I mean, it's not like I'm hiding something from the buyer. Anyway, I get a little like, I feel like every time I talk about Depop, I get a little, I don't know, because I feel very uncomfortable with Depop, and I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I've been selling on Depop for a while, but I don't sell very much on Depop, and when I have to do that flat rate shipping, I just get, I don't feel like I know what I'm talking about, if that makes sense. But I don't feel bad making a little bit of extra money on the shipping, is what I'm trying to say. So it sold for $20 plus $9 on shipping. The shipping label actually cost me $6.53. The fees were $1.41. I bought this at an estate sale. It was like a garage sale, estate sale, and my average cost of goods was $2.64. It took 9 months to sell, but you know, we're going into that fall season, so I think it's good. My profit is $18.42. Pretty great. So now the eBay sales, this one I was kind of surprised at a little bit. These are a pair of vintage driving gloves. A friend of mine gave me a bunch of stuff that she was just gonna give to Goodwill. I have a couple friends that do that, and I love that because it's free inventory for me. And I actually did a video where I went through the items and kind of looked up sell-through rate and just decided what I was gonna keep and what I was gonna donate. And these were some that I decided to keep. However, I was pretty convinced they weren't gonna sell because the sell-through rates, one, not very high, and these were not branded at all, and it did seem like the ones that were selling actually had branding on them in some way. So vintage leather driving gloves, that's what I figured out they were called after doing some research, or maybe somebody told me that on the video. I'm not really sure. I don't remember, but they have an average sale price of $18.90 with a 7% sell-through rate. You know what I mean? Like, that's really, really low. And I don't know what I had mine listed at. I think it was like $17 or $18, and they sold for $14.36. So it was a 20% off offer that I sent. With shipping, they paid $19.60, and I paid $0 for them because they came from my friend. They took 2 months to sell by the time I listed them, and my profit is $12.36. I'm really, really pleased with that and very surprised. I was, I don't know, like I said, pretty convinced that they weren't gonna sell. So they did have some markings on the inside. I made sure to take a picture of that. I was told that it was actually like the size. So, something sticky. I don't know. It's gone now. All right, talk about unbranding. These are not branded at all. And they're just a pair of like wide leg overalls. They are a linen blend. And yeah, I don't know. I just think they're really cute. But I have had them for a really long time, and I have stopped, unless it's like obviously vintage or something. Yeah, they're cotton and linen. They had the like material tag in them, but there's no branding. Anyway, I have 3 things I want to say. I have stopped doing like unbranded stuff unless it's vintage, okay? 2, if there isn't like a brand tag, there's a couple different places you can look. I always check pockets because sometimes they'll put tags in pockets. And then oftentimes, not on these, but the branding will also be on the button if it's a higher, like a worthwhile brand to sell usually. Not always, but sometimes. So if you are like, oh, this doesn't have a brand, you can look. in those places. And then there also are some brands that will put the branding on the material tag also. So if you can't find it anywhere else, you can look there. So I don't really know why I bought these, but I've had them. I didn't put the label on the gloves. The ADHD is ADHD. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. I need to take a breath. Okay, here we go. I don't even know where I was. Linen blend overalls, wide leg. Let's just start there. Average sale price is $20.91, 3% sell-through rate. Yeah, I mean, that was not a wise choice on my part. I do have a low cost of goods. It cost me $3. They sold for $12.96. With shipping, they paid $17.62. I've had them for 16 months. I paid $3 and my profit is $6.26. I doubled $3 and got my $3 back. It took 16 months to do it. That wasn't for me something worthwhile. Like, I don't know that I should have spent my time and money on that. Probably not something I would do again. But with reselling, at least in my experience, it's like just a constant learning curve, right? Last summer, I was buying pretty much anything linen and linen blend I could get my hands on. And this would have been in that, yeah. But now I have found out that one, I need to have some brand with it. And then also 100% linen sells way better than a linen blend, especially in a brand that, you know, either unbranded or something that isn't very well known or very well, just like a higher sell-through rate. You know, a lower sell-through rate brand, 100% linen is going to help that sell-through rate in my experience. All right, this is Toffee and Apple, which is kind of, I don't know, whatever that brand is. This is a vintage jumper. And I actually was just talking about a vintage jumper not that long ago. A couple days ago, I think I sold one of these similar. This one has like some applique on here, and this is embroidered. I don't know, it's just kind of a funky, different look. I actually bought this for the aesthetics video that I did with Gretchen, the Restless Thrifter, over a year ago now. So this took 16 months to sell. I, in general, have a pretty good track record with like these denim jumpers, like a midi or maxi length, in all kind of sleeve lengths, sleeveless, like overall style, short sleeve, long sleeve, any of them. And it seems like embroidered is better. I don't know, not necessarily this one in particular. I think this one's really cute though. Anyway, vintage denim jumper embroidered is what I looked up. It has an average sale price of $24.56 with a 4% sell-through rate. Again, my experience with it is better than 4%, so I oftentimes will use my experience versus just the sell-through rate. I don't know if this is gonna fit in here. I'm gonna try it. This sold for $22. That was an offer. I had it listed, I think, for $30. And so with shipping, they paid $29.29. Kind of funny. It took 16 months to sell. I spent 70 cents on it at one of my favorite thrift stores. And my profit is $18.05. If you're curious, the aesthetic I used for this was cabin. And I think it does fit that cabin aesthetic. I just don't know that the cabin aesthetic is actually a thing, because I've not really heard it past that video. Gretchen and I used, what was it? I think it was a Poshmark blog post on different aesthetics. So I don't know. I don't know the cabin aesthetic is a thing. I keep like watching and looking at things about aesthetics, and that's not what I've heard. So Still a cute jumper. When researching, jumper is also like a European word for sweater. Just so you know. That sometimes will skew things. Okay, this is the thing that surprised me. I still am not sure. I'm confused. I'm confused. Okay, I'm gonna show you. This is a blouse. I just got it at a Goodwill, and my sister and I met halfway between our houses and went thrifting at a Goodwill and went out to brunch last week. And I bought, I think, 3 shirts. One sold last week and this one sold today. So it has like a slinky kind of, that was my washing machine, I think. Not sure why. Has kind of a slinky feel to it. Like it does this, similar to like the Susan Graver liquid knit. And in fact, it's the 95 polyester, 5% spandex that Susan Graver's liquid knit is. I put liquid in my title. I don't know if that was good or not, but I did. I saw that on some other sold of this brand, but it's Ullapopken, Ullapopken. And I had heard it's a plus size, and I had heard, I think, Becky Park talk about it. And so I saw it, and it was on a half off sale, so it was like $3. And I was like, you know what, I'll try. Just kind of experiment with it, see what happens. And I got home. I'm really bad about comping when I'm thrifting. And that day I was more concerned about being with my sister than actually thrifting anyway. So I was like, I'll just try it, you know, and didn't comp it then. When I got home and comped it, the average sale price was $18.03 with a 13% sell-through rate. Oh, I was like, I really thought it was gonna be higher than that, the way I had heard Becky Park talk about it, but I know better than to just trust what I hear on social media about, you know, brands being really good or sought after or whatever. So I was like, whatever, I'll list it, we'll see what happens. I listed it for $24.95. And it sold using my 15% off coupon in 4 days. What am I missing? It has a 13% sell-through rate, and it sold so fast. I feel like I missed something, and I'm not really sure. Like, I don't necessarily think I overpriced it or anything. I just, like, did I mess something up with the comping? I don't know. It's confusing to me. Like, when I listed it, I looked through.
No, Mom's here.
Okay. Oh. No, not that one yet. Hold on. Take those. Oh boy. Oh no. Here, wait, there's one more. 2 more. 3 more. Go. Here. Run those to him and then come back.
It's a she.
Oh, sorry. A regular mail carrier is male. That's why I said he. I wasn't being anything. Okay. Anyway, it was just surprising to me and confusing. So I'm happy about it. I am real happy about it. My profit is $14.85 after 4 days and $3. I'll take that. That's amazing. I'm very pleased. My profit for the weekend was kind of low, $85.30. And you know, I want to be about $67 per day. I've been low in July. I think partially because of, you know, summer slowdown. I see a lot of people like, summer slowdown isn't real. I think it is a little bit. I think that's part of it. I also think it's partially me. I'm not listing as consistently. You know, I've been on vacation a lot, so I think that there are multiple factors that contribute to sales being slower. I'm not like completely think that it's my fault, but I also am not like completely blaming everyone else. So speaking of traveling a lot, being away a lot, having vacation time, That's been a lot of our summer, and it's been a lot of fun. But I'm curious if do you prefer to travel with friends or with family? Man, I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble if I answer this. Friends, honestly, is my answer. I think that there's just something a little bit more, I don't know, there's a little bit more pressure when you travel with family. Expectations wise, maybe. I think it depends on the friends too that you travel with. We have a family that we will go camping with usually about once a year, and we just have a rhythm and a routine with them that it's easy and comfortable. We've gone on quite a few trips with our best friends from college who live in our town, so we're still best friends with them, and it's just easy and comfortable, and we don't have any expectations on each other. And it's been last summer we went on a trip with my in-laws family, or my husband's family, my in-laws. And so my mother-in-law and her husband, my father-in-law, and then all the kids were there, and all the grandkids, and we were all in one house, and oh my goodness, we had really a lot of fun. But there's just like dynamics, there's family dynamics that just make it a little interesting. So yeah, that was a good trip. I'm glad that we did it. I'm always glad when we do family trips, but it's just different. So anyway, I'm curious what your answer is. Make sure you answer in the comments. That's it for me. Make sure you like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate you. I'll see you soon.